It had taken me several days, maybe even years, to work up the courage to take the journey. But I had questions that needed answered, and the locals all agreed. Only the wise sage on top of a mountain could answer them. And so I told my parents goodbye, knowing full well I may never return. So I began my journey, my ascent. That one question I needed answers to burned in the back of my mind the entire way. At first, the journey was easy and beautiful, swimming across lakes and rivers. Then I felt the full force of nature. I climbed the coldest peaks of Mount Doggo, braved the traps of Yorkshire Dungeon, and did the conga with the local wildlife, until finally, I ascended. I reached the peak. My long, hard journey was finally done, and after all this, I finally got to ask the wise old elder the question that burned in my mind for the last few years. How do you play Lorcana? Hey friends, welcome back to the Doghouse. I'm the Goodest boy. I just got back from a long, arduous journey, and now my parents won't talk to me. But I got knowledge I think you want to hear. I know most of my audience might already know everything I'm about to say, but this game is still growing, and there's a lot of new players joining this game. I actually had a Doghouse member chat me the other day, saying, "Oh, the Mr. the Goodest boy, how did they learn to come?" So of course I said nothing, because I don't speak Swedish. Then, a brilliant idea came to me. What if I taught people how to play Lorcana? So that's what we're doing today. And even if you know this stuff already, you're not going anywhere. Now, the most important objective in Lorcana is to get to 20 lore first. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 20... But how can you get to this mythically high number? Well, let's take a look at a card and find out. Here's the basic anatomy of a card. Oh, sorry, I should have knocked. Anyways, here's a standard character card. In the upper left top corner is a number that represents how much the card costs. We'll go over how to pay this later. Around the number, you'll see two distinct symbols, one with a golden wreath type thing and one without. This symbol means it's inkable, which is the primary way to pay for cards. Cards with this symbol are uninkable and can't be used to pay for costs. We'll go over this again later. In the middle right section of the card are two separate numbers, strength and willpower. Strength is a measure of how strong your character is, meaning how hard they hit when they start throwing fists, while willpower is how much damage they can take before being banished and sent to the discard pile. We'll go over challenges a bit more later, but let's look at these two cards. If these cards were to fight each other, they would deal 1 damage to each other, and both be left with 1 damage counter. And in the bottom right of a card, you'll see these lore pips. This is how much lore this character quests for. We'll go over questing in a bit as well, but questing is how you gain lore. Remember, it takes 20 to win, unless you're a troll. But there are several other types of cards in Lorcana. Let's go over them too. This is a location card. Location cards are a special kind of card that don't have any strength, but tend to have high willpower. This number is the cost of the location, and this number right here is the cost to move to the location. Some characters may get bonuses when they're at a location, and some locations may give characters passive bonuses while they're at the location. These are the primary reasons you would want to move to a location besides seeing new things, exploring new places, escaping the rise of fascism. This number right here is the willpower of the location, or how much damage it can take before it goes to the discard pile. Much like in real life, you can generally only attack a country so many times before it goes away. One more important thing to know. Some locations have lore pips on them as well. You gain that amount of lore at the start of your turn for every location on your side of the board. If you have one of these, you'll gain 1 lore. If you have Agrabah, you'll gain 2. I have this one, Mr. Boy. What does it do? Our next type of card is an item. You'll notice they have a cost as well. Items mostly have an effect in the text box that tells you what to do, but certain cards can interact with items. These cards stay on your board and generally can't be removed except by cards or effects that target them. Wow, that must make them good. Right? And that brings us to actions. Actions are cards with costs that generally only do things once. Dragonfire, for example, lets you pay 5 to banish a character. Pretty cool. And lastly, that brings us to songs. Songs are special in that you can exert a character with cost equal to the cost of the song to play it for free. For example, this card costs 3. I can sing Malicious, Mean, and Scary for free simply by exerting it. I don't have to pay ink. These cards are even more special with cards that have the keyword singer. This allows them to sing songs with a higher cost. But that's enough about card types. Let's learn how to play the game. Like I said earlier, the primary objective of Lorcana is to get to 20 lore. You can do this by questing with characters or playing actions that give you lore. During your turn, you can ink one card with the fancy wreath symbol. To do so, show it to your opponent, then place it face down at the bottom of your player area. You can then exert the ink by turning it sideways to play any card that costs 1. As you gain more ink, you can play larger and larger cards. No, I meant the cost, not the... When you play a character, they have to spend a turn drying before they can do anything. This means they can't quest, activate abilities, or do anything until the next turn. Once they're dry, however, you can quest with them by exerting them. This will gain you lore equal to the lore pips on the card, like we mentioned before. But sometimes, you need to stop your opponent from questing. This is where challenges happen. Let's say your opponent quested for 1. You can challenge them by exerting your character to initiate combat. Each character deals damage equal to their strength to each other and gain damage counters equal to the damage dealt. If the damage counters meet or exceed the willpower of a character, they are and sent to the discard pile. Now they can't quest anymore. And that's basically it for the gameplay. The game itself is deceptively simple. Now let's go over a little bit of some deck building rules. Now that you know how to play, you gotta know how to build a deck. The biggest thing to remember is that each deck can only have up to 2 different colors in it. Gray and less gray, more gray and dark gray, most gray and chartreuse, whatever, but you can only have 2. As far as individual cards, you can only have 4 copies of any individual card with 2 notable exceptions. Glass Slipper, which only lets you have 2, and 99 Puppies, of which you can have 99 in the deck, because dogs are allowed to break the rules as the superior species.
We are the true top of the food chain. We simply chose to be man's best friend because we felt sorry for you. You're an inferior species. You will never be a dog, and you will never come close to our level of perfection.
I still love you, though. Lastly, let's go over a few other things. One important thing is that you should always do as much of a card as possible. For example, Get to Safety lets you play a location with cost 3 or less. Then, draw if you have Sleepy Hollow on board. If you don't have Sleepy Hollow, you wouldn't draw, but you can still return another location cost 3 or less because you did as much of the card as possible. Remember, if you can't, don't. If you can. Anyways, that's about all you need to start playing some Lorcana. There's going to be some cool stuff you can see and do. This guide couldn't possibly cover everything, but should give you a good starting point. Now go out and have some fun! Or don't. If you like this video, check out my other discography. I'll be in Hollywood one day. I've sent Spielberg a few of my films, but haven't heard back, but I'm sure he'll respond soon. Any day now, actually. Or else.